MHC isn't a new company, just a new name. Moe's Moving is now Moe's Home and Commercial. Whether moving across town or across the state, MHC Moving has you covered, specializing in home, apartment, assisted, and independent living moves. MHC can handle your commercial moves as well. MHC Moving has 0 hidden fees. You'll never pay for same-day booking or be charged for stairs, heavy items, or elevator fees. Rates are the same Monday through Saturday, and you will never pay a truck or fuel surcharge. And they offer payment plans through PayPal. Call MHC Moving today at 402-853-7167 or go to mhcmoving.com.
Spring sports are here and it's time to upgrade your equipment. But don't go rushing to your big box store. Play It Again Sports is your place to go for all spring sports equipment for baseball, softball, golf, and disc golf. Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And don't forget, buying from them is a great way to get new products with great discounts by also bringing in your used items for store credit or cash on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and right now at Koppel, we are offering big discounts on all of our inventory. 2026 GMC Terrains are leasing at $279 per month or buy for $27,690. 2026 Canyon is leasing for $269 or buy for $40,980. Also right now, all new Equinox EVs and all half-ton trucks are starting at $12,000 off MSRP. These are just a few examples of some of the aggressive pricing going on right now at Koppel. Please stop on in or check us out at koppelcars.com. All these with $2,500 down with approved credit.
Forget the lame excuse this year. Your boss already knows why you can't make it to work for those 2 magical days in mid-March. Join 93.7 The Ticket on Thursday and Friday, March 19th and 20th at Buffalo Wings and Rings at 68th and O for March Mayhem. Come early on Thursday to get a ping pong ball with a lucky team on it and stay all day for prizes throughout and buzzer beater upsets. It's March Mayhem with 93.7 The Ticket for the NCAA tournament at Buffalo Wings and Rings on 68th and O.
One last night, one legendary career. On April 4th at 7 p.m., Love Nebraska hosts Love Austin at Baxter Arena, and it marks the final home match of Olympic gold medalist Jordan Larson's career. From world championships to unforgettable runs in Nebraska, she's defined excellence at every level. Now she shares the court one final time at home against an Austin squad ready to compete. It's more than a matchup. It's a farewell to a Nebraska icon and global trailblazer. Be there to witness history on April 4th at 7 p.m. Get your tickets now at lovbneb.com/tickets.
The stretch run is here. On March 18th, Love Nebraska hosts Love Atlanta at Baxter Arena with first serve set for 7 p.m., and every set carries postseason implications. 2 explosive teams meet on one court, trading quick transition, heavy swings, and defensive plays that can shift the match in seconds. Playoff implications on the line as the season winds down. Don't just track the score, feel every rally live. Secure your seats at lovbneb.com/tickets. At DWE Generations, having a plan matters, especially when it comes to protecting what's most important. They work with individuals, families, and business owners to help make smart financial decisions that support life today and set the foundation for generations. David Darlington, Russell Walton, and Cody Eiler bring decades of experience, and their dedicated team provides follow-through, answering questions, explaining next steps, and staying connected as life evolves. DWE Generations, a generational wealth planning firm. DWE Generations is a marketing name for individuals doing business as representatives of Northwestern Mutual. Visit generations.nm.com or call 402-483-7871 and ask for David, Russell, or Cody.
In a world where Wi-Fi battles rage and bandwidth is never enough, one family dares to connect it all. Work from home, influence all day, stream all night, and game to win. Deadlines, downloads, and dance-offs, all happening under one roof, flawlessly. Can your internet provider do that? Fiber fuel your household at allofiber.com/all-in.
Rick Heyman here from Sartor Heyman Jewelers. I want to personally thank our great customers for voting us once again the best of Lincoln. At the same time, we're celebrating our 120th year in business in the great state of Nebraska. You can count on Sartor Heyman for the very best quality, value, and customer service. When it comes to your jewelry needs, visit us at South Point, Grand Island, and the Outlet in downtown Lincoln. Visit us today at sartorheyman.com, and thank you for your continued trust after all these years.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills Global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, welcome to Ticket Weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome in. Nick Wyman here, located at 1040 O Street, 9317 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. It's the time of the week, the Husker Football Hour here on 9317 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Tom Shatel of the Omaha World Herald here alongside with me. The streak continues. I promised we'd keep it alive. We have to keep it going. Tom, how are you doing? There's a lot going on in Husker land, not just spring game coming up, but also basketball. There's a little bit of a game going on in Oklahoma City, but also the women are going to be in a first 4 game down in North Carolina in about 48 hours. So a lot of things going on. Husker baseball playing, Husker softball had some home games recently. Just there's a lot going on. Tom, how are you doing? We'll start with that.
Good.
There's so much to go on. I mean, how have you been? How did you watch your selection Sunday? Obviously, it's a little different because we're used to seeing Nebraska maybe be a bubble seed, or are they going to be in? Where are they going to be located? But I was still nervous watching the selection show, because just to see where Nebraska would go. I know a lot of people wanted to see them in Oklahoma City for the NCAA tournament, just because the easiest location. I guess St. Louis was up there as well, but I think regardless of where Nebraska played, their opening round game and potentially second round game of the March Madness NCAA tournament, I think Husker fans would have shown up regardless, because it's a pretty historic season throughout. But to capture potentially their first NCAA tournament win in program history, I think people would show out regardless of where Nebraska. They could have been playing in Portland, Oregon. They could have been playing in San Jose. Could have been playing in Buffalo. But Oklahoma City will be on Thursday morning, actually, against the Troy Trojans.
Yeah, there'll just be more fans, and people will go who can't get in the game. They'll just go to be there and hang out outside. So it's to say they were there.
I mean, yeah, it's gonna be a crazy atmosphere. I mean, a couple years ago, 2 years ago, playing A&M, a lot of Husker fans showed up for that one. But this one, I mean, you are a top 4 seed in your region. You're playing a Troy team who also technically has not won an NCAA tournament game in their program history. So there's the easy storyline between the Trojans and the Huskers, because both teams are searching for a tournament win. Something's got to give in that game at 11:40 Central Time on Thursday. Were you surprised at all by who Nebraska was playing, Tom? I mean, obviously, bid Steelers happened. They won the Sun Belt. People were talking maybe, throwing out the name like a Penn. Maybe we'd see Nebraska facing an old foal like Fran McCaffrey. That'd be really interesting. But Troy, what do you know a little bit about them so far in the couple of hours you've had to kind of dive into who Nebraska's opponent is heading into the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, just what I've read, which is anybody that's making the tournament is going to be good, and they scored 100 points a couple times. They played good defense. They rebound a lot, and that way it's probably not a good matchup for Nebraska, but they're not like the super athletic team either. So, I don't know. I can't say Nebraska fell to a 4. We didn't know that they were ever 3, but I guess we did a few weeks ago. We did, but Nebraska's just kind of hanging on in the last month, and so I'm not worried about Troy. I'm worried, what kind of Nebraska team are we going to see?
Yeah, they talked earlier today with the media as well. They. It sounds like the guys are in favor of an early game. Sam Hoiberg, Price, they said there's something about those earlier games. They like them. They just like getting out of the way. You're staying on schedule. I think that's the biggest point. If you play the latest game in the day at one of the sessions, the game goes to overtime, kind of pushes you back. You're kind of standing around. You've been waiting all day. Obviously, for Nebraska's, this is a historic game in a sense because they haven't won a game in the Big Dance before. just get that game, get the blood flowing right away. And I think that is something that they want to do, is just, get off to a good start, because I think that's the biggest key against a team like Troy, that you want to start off off to a strong start, because in recent memory, down the stretch here, they've had some not great first 5 minutes of games, which have put them behind, especially the game they just had in the Big Ten tournament at a neutral site like Purdue. So I think the biggest takeaway is just get off to a good start, because you never know how, it's the madness of March, Tom. You never know what it's going to be, because it's never, every team there wants it. Every team there wants it, Tom.
Yeah, don't be I guess don't be fooled by the point spread. This is going to go down to the end. It's probably going to be a last possession game, and it's going to come down to who's going to make the plays. Probably. I mean, that's how you have to look at it. And as opposed, what time you play, the teams and people that analyze that stuff, it's just you're trying to make an excuse already if you lose. Just play whatever they tell you to play, and that's the attitude you have to have. And I've seen a lot of upsets happen in the first game because somebody is not ready to play. But a lot of these things happen because somebody gets hot. And NCAA tournament games are usually, you can analyze them any way you want, but they usually come down to your stars have to show up. The guys who score points have to score points. They have to make shots. The guys who play the rebounders and the defenders, everybody has to do their job a little bit better. And you can't have a bunch of guys having an off day. And but that's what's hurt Nebraska in the past. They just haven't had those guys show up. And a lot of times they were just happy to be there. And that's, to me, there are two things that I think Nebraska has going for them. One is the crowd will be very much on their side. And in an early game, if the people are all pumped up and they get the juice flowing, that's huge. And also, in the past, Selection Sundays have been celebrations for Nebraska. Yesterday wasn't really a celebration. It was, okay, who are they going to play? And it's time to go work.
Yeah, like I said, I was still nervous watching it just because of the past years, back to that to the early 2010s when Nebraska played Baylor. It was, where's Nebraska going to be after they won the no-sit Sunday game against Wisconsin? A couple years ago, 2 years ago, where are they going to play? And playing Texas A&M. Nervous watching that one because you wanted to see where the chips fall and where they're heading. This one already a lock in. I just kind of felt that same mojo. Just because I think it's just instincts as watching Nebraska basketball, because you're not used to seeing a top 16 team in the tournament play happening for this team. It just hasn't happened in our lifetime. So just not used to it in general. So getting that spot I think is just huge. And they end up having to play Troy. Ryan in Nashville watching. If you'd love to join the conversation with me and Tom Shatel, the Omaha World Herald, 402-464-5665 on the Sartor Heyman Jewelers text line says, tell you one thing, Jamarcus Lawrence is due. Where's he been? Yeah, that's what I think the biggest part about March is guys who step up. You kind of touched on it. Once guys get hot, I think that's when, you become a March sensation. We've seen it a ton of time with other teams who have made a couple wins in the tournament, but also have won the whole entire thing. When guys get hot, it's just a different type of thing. You become a March legend. I mean, Kemba Walker with that UConn team way back when, UConn was kind of they were a lower seed. They weren't a top seed by any means. But Kemba Walker, when he took over, it was electric, and that's what just got them to the finals. Nebraska, it's a team where, Price Sanford has been the guy. Rink Mass, if you can get him going, Jamarcus Lawrence, as we mentioned all year, tough team, 26-6 for a reason. Obviously, down the stretch, lose some tough games to Purdue and whatnot, which is a team that is rolling. They won the entire Big Ten Conference as a 7 seed. It's an interesting thing because if Nebraska can get some guys going, the sky's the limit through tournament play. But I will say, Tom, not getting ahead of myself, you got to win the first one.
Well, yeah, they got to play the first one, or we'll be coming home Friday, and everybody will be very disappointed. It's I think this is going to be a close game, and I think it's going to be close at half, a basket or two.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Nebraska's, as they've done a lot of times, they come out in the second half and they assert themselves in a lot of games. And so I think that's where they'll probably have to win this one in the second half. But I think just the important thing for me, yes, they need to get Sanford going. And are they going to allow Troy to grab him and hold him? I mean, typically they let you play in the NCAA tournament. Are they going to allow one contact, or is Nebraska going to get open shots? I mean, yes, it'll be important to hit shots and get people hot.
Yeah,
but I think defense is what's going to win this game for them. They're going to have to. I think they come out of the gate. You have to, like UCLA did, like Purdue did to them, because they come out. And you're right in your face, and they won't let you breathe. They won't let you catch the ball. And Nebraska's done that in the past, and it's been a while since we've seen them start a game like that. And I think that's what they got to do. Thursday.
Yeah, and especially in the NCAA tournament. Nebraska's going to have a nice crowd down there. It's a quick trip down to Oklahoma City. But the thing is Nebraska will have that. But the when you watch these top seeds in the NCAA tournament. Troy, who there'll be some neutral watchers going on. If Troy gets any kind of momentum, those neutral watchers, I mean, everybody cheers for an underdog. I get it, whatever your bracket is or whatnot, but we've seen it in past years with top seeds. People like an underdog story. So Nebraska, if they get off to a fast start, they can put that behind them. So those neutral fans who are, not cheering for Troy, not cheering for Nebraska, but everybody, we've seen it a number of times. Princeton a couple of years ago against a team like Arizona. Princeton hung around, ends up grabbing a lead, and then the neutral crowd plays a factor because people cheer for an underdog. That's just how sports works in general.
But that doesn't apply here because Nebraska is the underdog. Nebraska is not a brand name.
They're not a Duke or a Michigan or whatever.
I can't believe Troy is going to get all fired up to beat Nebraska, as opposed to if they're playing Arizona or Kentucky or Carolina or somebody like that.
That's what's just so unique about this situation, because Nebraska, I mean, look at them. Like, you look at the other side of that bracket, Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt hasn't had a great basketball success in recent memory. They had John Jenkins a couple of years ago and whatnot. But they're on that other side. They're playing McNeese. So you could get a Vanderbilt-Nebraska match, a battle of two basketball programs who kind of been there, because Vanderbilt just kind of been swallowed up by the other SECs, the Southeastern Conference teams. You could get a really interesting matchup there. And if Nebraska ends up being one of those teams, just grab some momentum early, because you look at Troy, they're here for a reason. 22-11 on the year, won the Sun Belt. They do have some common opponents, Tom, from the year. So they played USC before Thanksgiving, triple overtime game with them, losing that game 107-106. So they can put up some points. Like you said, they put up 100-plus points in 6 games so far this season. Some of those against, they're probably less competition, but they still won those games, scoring 100 points against Texas State. And then their other common opponent in Nebraska was West Georgia. They lost that one 93-89 in double overtime. So the other thing I take away from them, they're a decent rebounding team. They're not a super athletic team, but they have some scores across the board. They're kind of a well-balanced attack. They don't have a superstar team, kind of like Nebraska. But that's what kind of makes these teams dangerous. They're underdogs. They come in or whatnot. They come in as the 14 seed. Hey, no pressure for us. We're the lower seed. We have a chance to shock the world. So I think that's what makes this game a little scary. Just because Nebraska, I mean, there's no secret they haven't won a tournament game, but Troy playing with no pressure. I think that's what makes it very interesting. The very good storyline between these two basketball programs. Tom,
you're right.
Yeah, it's interesting in general, just because I'm just curious. I kind of wish they had more of a primetime slot, but in 11:40, I'll take it. But this game is exciting because if Nebraskans get past that one game, and then the sky's the limit, I think, because a lot of people are talking Elite 8, Sweet 16, and whatnot. I think the hardest game is that first game, Tom, because you never know how you're going to respond in a neutral site, especially a game at this magnitude, because you played 30-plus games to get to this point, and now you finally have to stare it in the face, regardless of who you're playing. I think that's the biggest takeaway I have from this one, Tom.
Yeah, I just think it's a very unique game, but it's these things come down to not analytics or metrics. They just come down to who's going to show up. And I've seen teams that played great. They won their conference tournaments, and they get on the stage and they freeze, or they let a couple things go wrong early. They get in foul trouble, or they get behind, and they start choking, for lack of a better word. It's hard. So you have to be tough. And I like Nebraska's mentality. I think a lot of people are going to be rooting for them. I think the only people who will be rooting against them will be Hawkeyes and the Blue Jays. They'll be rooting hard for Nebraska to lose, but maybe some of those might be rooting for them just to get it over with.
I mean, you're a 4 seed in the NCAA tournament. Nebraska, the committee believes Nebraska is one of the top 16 teams in the country. So Nebraska can get past Troy. They either get Vanderbilt or McNeese State. Like I said, Vanderbilt's an interesting team too, because if you get to them, you had 2 teams trying to make it to the Sweet 16 against, more than likely, unless upsets happen galore in college basketball. This is all projected, because that's why they play the games. Don't play the games on paper, because if they did, somebody would have a perfect bracket, but they don't. Florida would be staring at Nebraska as the highest seed remaining on the other side against if they make the Sweet 16. But like I said, you got to win one. If you win one, I'm just curious how they do against a neutral site, because we've seen them in good neutral site games, Tom. We've seen them in the Pentagon against Oklahoma. We saw them in Kansas City against K-State and New Mexico early this year. But then we've seen them at neutral sites like the Big Ten tournament, where we faced a red-hot Purdue team and didn't really have an answer for them. And Purdue, I think the biggest takeaway I'm going to have from Thursday is, how does Nebraska crash the boards? Is the rebounding, obviously Purdue's been able to kind of expose that in a sense, just because they have Oscar Clough and whatnot, and they have a really well-balanced team. I think crashing the boards on a team like this, because Nebraska seems like they're not the tallest team, but you just can't let that get in the way, because like I said, if a team starts making shots as an underdog team or a lower seed, things happen in March, and we've seen it time and time again throughout history, Tom.
Yep, they sure do. And, it'll have to be a team effort on the boards.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. And Nebraska, that game is at 11:40 on Thursday, the second game of the entire tournament for the 2026 edition of the NCAA tournament. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit about Husker football, as this is the Husker football hour, Tom. We'll talk a little bit about things to watch for the spring game that's coming up here. Crazy that we're sitting here when St. Patrick's Day is around. The spring game's coming up in a matter. We had snow on the ground yesterday, and we're talking about the spring game, Tom. I can't imagine a world where that's happening. It's wild. Yep. It's Nebraska for you, though. You always have to be prepared. So we're going to go to break. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit about that. And then to close out the show, we'll talk about Nebraska women. They are playing in a couple of days as well in the NCAA tournament. First 4 against Richmond in North Carolina. So we'll be back. Husker Football Hour, Nick Wyman, Tom Shatel, right here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
MHC isn't a new company, just a new name. Moe's Moving is now Moe's Home and Commercial. Whether moving across town or across the state, MHC Moving has you covered, specializing in home, apartment, assisted, and independent living moves. MHC can handle your commercial moves as well. MHC Moving has 0 hidden fees. You'll never pay for same-day booking or be charged for stairs, heavy items, or elevator fees. Rates are the same Monday through Saturday, and you will never pay a truck or fuel surcharge. And they offer payment plans through PayPal. Call MHC Moving today at 402-853-7167 or go to mhcmoving.com. All right, Lincoln, if you're a diesel technician who's ready to earn up to $40 an hour and you're tired of working nights and weekends, listen up. Inland Truck Parts and Service is hiring experienced diesel technicians right here in Lincoln, and they're offering what every hardworking tech wants. Monday through Friday hours, no nights, no weekends, and paid training on advanced diesel technology. With 37 locations across 12 states, career advancement opportunities are endless. Start building towards your future and apply today at inlandtruck.com. That's inlandtruck.com. Or text APPLY to 785-369-1320. Forget the lame excuse this year. Your boss already knows why you can't make it to work for those 2 magical days in mid-March. Join 93.7 The Ticket on Thursday and Friday, March 19th and 20th at Buffalo Wings and Rings at 68th and O for March Mayhem. Come early on Thursday to get a ping pong ball with a lucky team on it and stay all day for prizes throughout and buzzer beater upsets. It's March Mayhem with 93.7 The Ticket for the NCAA tournament at Buffalo Wings and Rings on 68th and O.
Hey Husker Nation, this is Todd Euler, two-time national champion, here to talk to you about Window World Lincoln. At Window World, we specialize in replacement windows, doors, siding, and roofing. Whether you're looking to enhance the beauty of your home or increase its energy efficiency, we've got you covered. And here's the best part. We offer the best for less. Our team is dedicated to providing top quality products and exceptional service at affordable prices. We want to earn your business and make your home improvement dreams a reality. So why wait? Contact Window World Lincoln today at 464-7313 or visit our website at windowworldlincoln.com. Window World Lincoln, where quality meets affordability.
Spring sports are here and it's time to upgrade your equipment. But don't go rushing to your big box store. Play It Again Sports is your place to go for all spring sports equipment for baseball, softball, golf, and disc golf. Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And don't forget, buying from them is a great way to get new products with great discounts by also bringing in your used items for store credit or cash on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Husker fans, baseball is back in Lincoln, and it's time to get your tickets to Nebraska baseball. Catch great matchups all season long as the Huskers take on some of the top teams in the Big Ten, including Indiana, USC, and Iowa. Plus, don't miss midweek action against in-state rival Creighton and regional matchups with Kansas and Kansas State. Bring the whole family. General admission tickets start at just $10 or grab reserved seats for $15. Don't miss your chance to be part of the action this season. Get your tickets today by visiting huskers.com/tickets or by calling 1-800-8-BIG-RED.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and right now at Koppel, we are offering big discounts on all of our inventory. 2026 GMC Terrains are leasing at $279 per month or buy for $27,690. 2026 Canyon is leasing for $269 or buy for $40,980. Also right now, all new Equinox EVs and all half-ton trucks are starting at $12,000 off MSRP. These are just a few examples of some of the aggressive pricing going on right now at Koppel. Please stop on in or check us out at koppelcars.com. All leases with $2,500 down with a roof credit.
Want to make the easy call? Call John Henry's. From leaky pipes to a broken AC, flickering lights to furnace fights, even drains and duct cleaning, we've got it handled. Plumbing, heating, air, and electrical, all under one trusted roof. Proudly serving homes across Lincoln, Omaha, and surrounding areas and ready 24/7. Visit calljh.com or call John Henry's.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating
and Electrical.
One last night, one legendary career. On April 4th at 7 p.m., Love Nebraska hosts Love Austin at Baxter Arena, and it marks the final home match of Olympic gold medalist Jordan Larson's career. From world championships to unforgettable runs in Nebraska, she's defined excellence at every level. Now she shares the court one final time at home against an Austin squad ready to compete. It's more than a matchup. It's a farewell to a Nebraska icon and global trailblazer. Be there to witness history on April 4th at 7 p.m. Get your tickets now at lovbneb.com/tickets.
If you want to make new floor shopping easier, come to O Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. We eliminate the confusion. Even better, you'll be enjoying your new flooring much sooner. No 6 or 8 week waits. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at O Street Carpet.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Gaina Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Gaina Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back. Nick Wyman here, 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com for the Husker Football Hour with Tom Shatel of the Omaha World Herald. As always, it's the Husker Football Hour, so we will spend time talking about the Husker football. As you wouldn't know by it, we had a little bit of a snowstorm, I guess, depending on where you're living in the state, but you wouldn't know because all the snow's pretty much melted now. But there was some snow on the ground because we're in Big Ten country, Tom. But the spring game is just in a matter, they have this week, spring break or whatnot. And then next week they'll hit the ground running for the final preparations before the 2026 Nebraska football spring game takes center stage on the following Saturday. Still strikes me that, we're having a spring game talk in March. It just doesn't feel right, but I get it having it early. Matt Rule talked about it last week, having, just adjusting to this week and whatnot, because this week not having everybody around. But hey, spring football is spring football, regardless of the time, Tom, I guess.
Yeah, I've tried to follow it from afar. I haven't really delved into it very much. Maybe if that's something I'll try to do next week. If we're going to the Sweet 16, then I may not be able to do that. So no, I mean, I'll certainly try to. I think people are kind of. I'm sure the hardcore football people are all over it, but they haven't really gotten much out of anything this year, out of this spring. They didn't really have a lot of info. We've had good interviews, and people are talking up Calandria, and that's great. But it's still low key, and I kind of like it that way. And I was interested. I did listen to Rule talk last week and talked about how he likes it so much he might do this every year. So sure, why not? I think the attendance at the spring game will be interesting. If it's not what it usually is, the athletic department's probably going to want them to have it in April. So, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, they've interviewed last week, the quarterbacks talked. We talked about Danny Kaelin and whatnot, his return to Lincoln and whatnot. Anthony Calandria, they talked about, what he brings to the team and the swagger and whatnot and all those words and whatnot. But a spring game in the middle of maybe the NCAA tournament where Nebraska is featured in would put a little wrinkle in. I think there's just a lot going on in Nebraska right now that also is taking a little bit, because usually the spring game, there's a lot of buzz, a lot of new faces, new DC, Rob Orich, you have Geep Wade, the new offensive line coach, a lot of new transfers coming in, Owen Chambliss and whatnot, new quarterback, Anthony Calandria. People want to see Mekhi Nelson in the running backs, which wide receivers are going to be. There's a lot of storylines there, but there's just a lot going on in Nebraska sports right now. You have, the NCAA tournament going on Thursday for Nebraska for the men playing Troy. You have the women playing a first four game Wednesday against Richmond. Husker baseball, Husker softball have had some pretty good games so far at home, have really good starts to the season so far with a lot of high expectation. You have Nebraska wrestling in the NCAA championships starting on Thursday, Friday, Saturday. There's just a lot going on in this month. And then you throw the spring game in there. It's just, championship games, postseason play, baseball weekend series, weekday games. The spring game just gets kind of lost in the shuffle. And I feel like compared to other years, we haven't really had that, because we've had Nebraska basketball play postseason for women's, and we've had, the college basketball crown last year. But this year just feels a little different, just because it also goes with them starting earlier or whatnot, because usually spring we're talking about, after Easter or around Easter weekend, they're having a spring game. But it's March 28th is when this is being played. And hopefully the weather's better. I mean, it's Big Ten country. You got to be prepared for anything, and in the Midwest. But I just think a lot of the other success in the other programs across the board at the university have kind of taken away from the spring game, Tom.
Yeah, I don't know if that was intentional by Coach Rule, but I don't think he minds it. I really get the impression that he's a little subdued right now. I wonder if some of the criticism, some of the voices, the loud voices, he's hearing them or not. But it seems to be a lot different vibe, a lot more low key. And again, I I don't mind that. I don't think he minds that. I think it's, but I don't know what advantage you have by doing it now. You certainly don't. I mean, you're going to have great weather this week and probably next week, so maybe they catch a break there. But generally, you're not going to get the great weather. But a lot of programs are doing it early too. So, it's again. I think all that matters is not that it's overshadowed, but are they getting work done? Are they getting better? Is this defense going to be better? Is the offensive line going to be better? The quarterback, like I've said many times, the quarterback and running back are great, but if nobody's blocking, it doesn't matter. So they need, but hopefully they'll. I mean, we won't know until we see it. I mean,
exactly.
We won't. So, and I don't think, frankly, Nebraska's going to go to the Elite Eight. I don't. To think that they would beat Florida, I don't.
Hey, there's no. Hey, it's the NCAA
but,
tournament. You never know. Florida may losing an 8-9 game. You never know. That's the beauty of March.
If they did, the Elite Eight is on Saturday in Houston. So same time as the spring game. So don't know if it'd be the exact same time. I don't think it's that early in the day.
I think they play. So when they get to the Elite Eight, they'll play like a 5 o'clock and like a 7:30. Usually is what they'll do when they get there. So the spring game, but they're also, like we mentioned a couple weeks ago, baseball and softball will be playing at Bolin and Haymarket Park. Softball playing UCLA, baseball playing another conference foe as well. So there's just a lot going on. There's just a lot of sporting events going on across this entire region. Which is causing, just that on the back burner. I think also with this spring game being early, and what also adds another wrinkle, Nebraska's never really had spring break over, the week after they play then in the spring game. Matt Rule talked about that last week in his media availability. They're kind of using this kind of like a bye week, essentially. I mean, it kind of, there's obviously some differences. Like a bye week, you're obviously still practicing or whatnot. But they're going to be coming off, spring break or whatever. Some players are going home. Some players are still around, whatever and whatnot. But then they're going to come back on Monday and then treat it like a game week, kind of like you went out, you had a Saturday off or whatever or whatnot, like a bye week. And Nebraska's kind of treating it like that. I think there are some advantages to that, because then once that bye week does come around in a regular season play, you're kind of situated into that, because, it's a little different than spring ball. Spring ball, at that last week, everything's kind of already applied and whatnot, and you're not really adding anything new. You're just kind of running through, what you've already applied throughout the entire spring. But it just adds a little bit of wrinkle. And I think that is an interesting point you kind of have with that spring break being thrown in there, because now you have that, then you coming off, kind of treat it like a bye week, come back on Monday, hit the ground running, and then you have the spring game on Saturday. So I do think that's a good little test run, Tom, for coming off a bye week, kind of in the spring, essentially.
Yeah, I guess. I don't think that the bye week is going to make or break anybody next year. But, more importantly, again, defense, are they better? I just don't know that they scored a lot of big time playmakers in the portal. I don't know just how much talent's on this roster. I mean, we'll have to see.
It's all a question mark until you actually get game footage. It's just how it is in football. You never know if you hit on a transfer or whatnot. Like, look at Bryce Sanford. Bryce Sanford coming from Nebraska basketball from Iowa, limited time as a freshman, played a little bit last year. He gets about 20 more minutes a game, and he breaks the record for 3-pointers in a season in the Big Ten Conference. You never really know until you see it on the field, because practice is practice. But once you get it on the field and guys get situated, you never know. I hate to compare it to basketball, but you never really know, because you've touched on it, the offensive line. I think that's probably your biggest talking point this entire spring. Or what the offensive line can look like. I know the defense is obviously, there's some questions there. Quarterback is obviously, that's the guy who touches the ball every play. I was going to ask you, what's the top storyline to watch on during the spring game coming up? I read your mind. It's probably the offensive line.
Well, that and the defense. I mean, they need something. This program needs to be good at something. It's not good at anything right now. It's not really good. It doesn't do anything really well. And so going into year 4, and you do anything next year find something and I get good at it. And I think my top candidate for that will be the defense. If you can light a fire and make it, give that defense an identity where it's they're running to the ball, they're knocking the crap out of people. Again, sometimes defense comes down to talent, especially up front. But just the way they play, I'm really interested to see the way they play under John Butler. It was a thinking man's game. Mm-hmm. It needs to be ball snapped, go kill. It needs to get back to that. And so I'm anxious to see if they can get that going. But, whatever we see in the spring game is going to be modified. It's going to be the play calling will be fairly vanilla. It's not you can't put together an offensive line even with veterans in one spring. That is going to take. We'll know more about the offensive line and defense when they start playing games next September, and we'll see just where they are. But my point about the talent is it as good as Indiana or Ohio State or Iowa or some of those teams, Illinois? I mean, you look at the games that Washington comes in here. Mm-hmm. You go to Oregon. I mean, are we at that level? I don't know. I don't think they are at that level talent-wise. So I'm just curious to see what they could put together because that schedule is not for the timid. But it doesn't mean they can't pull a surprise or two. But I just don't know what they have right now. So you sure as heck don't find out in that interview room. You don't learn anything in that interview room except that everybody loves everybody. Everybody's really good. Everybody's doing great, and so on and so forth. So and that's great.
Yeah,
we'll learn by watching, and we'll learn by seeing. And there's some snippets of video from practice from the open windows that they give us, but the spring game is intriguing because we'll find out a little bit about this team, and then we'll go into the fall, and we'll get our practices.
Yeah.
Our open windows, and we'll get to find out a little bit more. But until the opener, when we start playing games, that's when we'll start to get a picture.
Yeah, and it'll be here before we know it. We saw the spring game sneak up on us here in March, the end of March, and before we know it, August will be coming around, and we'll be heating up for that first Nebraska game day. It's crazy how fast it moves. But we're going to go to break. When we come back, we'll put a bow on the show, but also talk about the women. The Nebraska women are heading to the NCAA tournament too. They found out their fate last night in the NCAA women's selection show. We'll talk a little bit about that and their matchup on Wednesday in the first four in Durham, North Carolina, as they play then. Nick Wyman here, Tom Shatel of the Omaha World Herald on 94.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. We'll be right back after this break.
In communities like ours, local relationships still matter. At Insight Partners, we believe we are better together. That's why insurance agencies across the Midwest have joined Insight Partners to better serve local customers and communities with all their insurance needs. From personal to commercial or specialty insurance, your local Insight Partners team is here to help protect what matters most. Insight Partners, better together. Learn more at myinspartners.com.
If you want to make new floor shopping easier, come to O Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. We eliminate the confusion. Even better, you'll be enjoying your new flooring much sooner. No 6 or 8 week waits. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at O Street Carpet.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Hi everyone, Kendall Warnock, A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. Spring is here. Summer is fast approaching. With weddings, vacations, and weekend getaways on your mind, do not let car issues prevent you from getting where you need to be. Car problems shouldn't be something that you put up with. Let us get you back on the road in comfort and safety. We diagnose all makes and models from Porsches to Hondas, Toyotas, and Chevrolets. We fix a variety of issues with all of them with our talented techs and our experienced staff. A1 Automotive at 11th and L, downtown Lincoln, always honest answers.
MHC isn't a new company, just a new name. Mo's Moving is now Mo's Home and Commercial. Whether moving across town or across the state, MHC Moving has you covered, specializing in home, apartment, assisted, and independent living moves. MHC can handle your commercial moves as well. MHC Moving has 0 hidden fees. You'll never pay for same-day booking or be charged for stairs, heavy items, or elevator fees. Rates are the same Monday through Saturday, and you will never pay a truck or fuel surcharge. And they offer payment plans through PayPal. Call MHC Moving today at 402-853-7167 or go to mhcmoving.com.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
For remote starters, audio upgrades, and more, there's only one place to go. Auto Sounds of Lincoln at 48th and O.
There are so many realtors in Lincoln and Omaha, but don't get overwhelmed by all the no-names, plus all the different companies. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Real Estate is your go-to option, whether buying or selling residential, luxury, leasing, investment properties, or commercial property, small or large. Ben's team offers decades of experience, unbeatable customer service, and promises to fully protect your interests throughout the entire transaction. Call 402-419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group of BHHS Ambassador Real Estate.
The wait is over. It's Truck Month at Anderson Ford, which means big selection and even bigger savings on Ford F-150s. Like lease a 2025 Ford F-150 for only $195 per month. The truck that's built to work hard and play hard. Another reason you'll experience better at Anderson Ford. Stock number 1008409. Previous service letter. $195 per month for 36 months, 7,500 miles per year, 8,500 with type. Tax, title, and license fees extra. Residency restrictions apply. Program subject to change. Must take new retail delivery from Anderson Auto Group by 3/31/26.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC. And right now at Koppel, we are offering big discounts on all of our inventory. 2026 GMC Terrains are leasing at $279 per month or buy for $27,690. 2026 Canyons leasing for $269 or buy for $40,980. Also right now, all new Equinox EVs and all half-ton trucks are starting at $12,000 off MSRP. These are just a few examples of some of the aggressive pricing going on right now at Koppel. Please stop on in or check us out at koppelcars.com. All leases with $2,500 down with approved credit.
Looking for the right utility tractor for your acreage? Find it at Landmark Implement. Shop our selection of used John Deere compact tractors from 1 through 5 series with the power and versatility to track mowing, yard work, snow removal, and more. For a limited time, get 2.9% financing for 36 months, followed by 6.2 for 24 months with approved credit. We've got the right fit for your property and your budget. Stop by your local Landmark Implement or visit us online at landmarkimp.com today and experience the Landmark difference.
In every office, there's 2 types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize to participate in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the KNTK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contests, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
Back to The Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back. Nick Wyman here, located 1040 O Street in the capital city, alongside Tom Shatel of the Omaha World Herald for the Husker Football Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. If you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, X, or on Allo Channel 961, truly appreciate it. If you'd love to hit the Starter Heyman Julius text line, 402-464-5685. Tom, we have a little bit of time left. I did allude to it. It's a busy time of Husker sports. Husker baseball getting a series win at home. Husker softball playing some games, improving, getting 20-plus wins already on the season. Basketball, obviously, the men are playing on Thursday at 11:40. But, hey, the women are still playing. The women obviously ended, the regular season with a win over Rutgers, going to the Big Ten tournament, lose to Indiana right away, which at that point, they had a week and a half to evaluate, hey, are we in or are we not? Where are we at? Nebraska women's basketball ends up grabbing one of the last 4 spots, and they are going to be an 11 seed, and they are going to play in the first 4 of the NCAA women's tournament against Richmond on Wednesday at 6 o'clock. A quick turnaround. I mean, hey, you find out your fate Sunday, and you got to play right away, and chance to potentially make the field of 64. So Nebraska plays Richmond that night in Durham, North Carolina, the home of the Duke Blue Devils. And then if Nebraska wins that one, Tom, they're going to have to go up against an old Big 12 foe in number 6 Baylor, who's had a very successful women's basketball program. So it's a busy time, and that adds another wrinkle into it because Nebraska women were kind of sitting around, 10, 15 days ago. Are we in? Are we not? And they end up getting one of those last 4 spots and have a chance to continue their season. Why not them? I think that's the biggest motto for them. Like, hey, obviously the season ended how it went, but we have a chance to make some noise in March Madness. We have a chance to do something, Tom.
Absolutely, and it's great that they made it. I was afraid that when they had a 20-point lead against Indiana and blew it to a team that was not going to make the tournament. I thought that was probably the end of it, but they just didn't do enough at the end. But they did do enough at the end, didn't they? You just never know. And I think their schedule, a lot of their early wins helped. And the fact that they played in the Big Ten, and Big Ten's, I know the SEC is great, but the Big Ten is great too. And so I'm just glad they made it. I don't have expectations of them going very far, but when you've got a talent like Prince, who knows? But I'm just glad they made it. It keeps their streak going, and so we'll be watching.
Yeah, you mentioned it, the scheduling. We talk about the SEC and women's basketball, South Carolina and the LSUs and whatnot. In any other year, I think Nebraska would be a shoo-in for where they are and where the Big Ten tournament. We see in the NCAA tournament. We've seen a number of years when Nebraska makes it in. This year is just the Big Ten was stacked. Michigan State had one of their best seasons in history. Iowa had another good year. Michigan had a really good year. Ohio State made it in. UCLA obviously is one of the top 4 they're a number 1 seed. They're one of the top teams in women's college basketball. And Nebraska played all these teams. Did they beat them? No, but they were in it. And they ended up with 18-12 record. And despite losing a lot of those close games, Maryland included too. Maryland's another team that's really good on the women's college basketball side. Really good program. And Nebraska played all these teams, didn't get blown out in a lot of them, but they hung around and were able to, be able to boost their resume. USC, another one, obviously missing Juju Watkins, still a solid team. There's just so many teams in there that were in the Big Ten. Any other year, I think Nebraska is shoo-in for the tournament. But this year, the Big Ten women's basketball was just absolutely stacked across the board. There were so many quality teams. And Nebraska played Iowa twice. They fell to them twice, but they were relatively close games. Ohio State, they went up there, and Columbus played close. Washington, Oregon, those 2 teams as well. They're solid programs as well. There's just a very good balance across the Big Ten, Tom.
I agree.
And when you have that, that's what it creates. Now you get a chance to prove it. You're playing a team like Richmond, who has 25-plus wins. They're a solid team. And chance to play Baylor, another really good program. So, hey, if they win that game, they'll play Friday and against Baylor during the day as well. And then you also have to mix in the Husker baseball playing, they're playing Wichita State and whatnot during the midweek. Softball's going on. There's just so much Nebraska wrestling. They have a couple guys ranked in the top 8 in their respective weight classes for the NCAA wrestling championships in Cleveland coming up. There's something for everybody, Tom. There's something for if you're a fan of every Husker sport, there's some kind of flavor for you in some shape or form.
Yeah, I'm anxious for softball and baseball to take center stage later in April. There won't be football. There'll be they'll be out there, and it'll be great. Softball's having a year where they hope to host. You get one of those top 8 seeds and maybe host all the way through. And baseball, all they do is win. It's you just keep stacking wins. All they do is win, and there's a lot to be said for that. So, but we'll. I feel like we'll get to them. I really feel like spring game weekend. We'll put football aside, and UCLA softball is here.
Yeah.
It's a weekend that I can really define the season for Nebraska in some ways. So it'll feel like the spring sports will begin that weekend.
It'll be exciting, to say the least. This week we think this week's busy. Wait until the spring game week comes up. So that is all. Tom Shatel, thank you so much for joining us here for the Husker Football Hour. As always, Nick Wyman here. We have a stacked schedule still going on. All In coming up next, following with the Bowlers, Haley and Desiree on Beyond the Lanes, Chris Raff, and then DeMornay Pearsonell at 11, and then 10, and then 11 Late Night Lincoln with myself. So stick around. A lot of the shows coming up here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.